Hello, this is Terry with Fortress Grand Corporation, and today we're going to talk about Bully Button, complete incident tracking software. Today we'll look at the goals for Bully Button, as well as the Bully Button features and how to use Bully Button both from user side where they're reporting a bully incident, as well as from an administrative side where you're viewing reports and incidents and tracking their progress. First, let's talk about the goals for Bully Button. The goal of Bully Button was to reduce the friction and social pressure that oftentimes delay or prevent bully incidents from being reported. A lot of times students don't want to go to the office and report that they've been bullied because they are afraid that people are going to see them doing that and they're just going to get bullied further. So Bully Button, one of the goals was to be able to provide an easy platform for victims of bullying to be able to report incidents and have that information be transmitted to administrators. And once the administrators have it, we wanted to provide a consistent, reliable workflow from receiving that report through the investigation process, as well as the resolution of the bullying incident, and be able to track that process throughout the entire chain from beginning to end and be able to see meaningful information about that. What we wanted to do is provide reports that allow administrators to see statistics on bullying and see if the bully prevention programs that they're implementing are being effective and if there is an actual downward trend in bullying. Also, Bully Button allows administrators to see the type of bullying that's going on and maybe take different actions depending on the kinds of bullying that's going on, whether it's cyberbullying, whether it's physical, whether it's verbal, and really see what types of bullying are occurring and respond appropriately to those types. The features of Bully Button are kind of categorized into incident reporting. The incident reporting is anonymous, it's very fast, and it's cross-platform, so you don't have to have an app installed. Students don't need to have a specific brand of phone, whether it's iOS or Android or anything else. They just do this through a web page. You can provide links on school websites to get to the spot where you report the bullying incident. And again, as we'll see when we actually report an incident, it's very easy to just check different things that have happened, and Bully Button will generate basically a descriptive paragraph of what happened and then allow the person reporting the incident to maybe add extra details onto that. It also features easy administration where administrators can log on with a browser and see new incidents and manage those incidents and do things like record that they talked to the victim or they talked to the bully or they talked to parents. They maybe reviewed security video, things like that. And so all of the details of the investigation and reporting on this incident can be recorded inside a Bully Button and made available to any administrator that you want to make it available for. Bully Button also features real-time alerts, so you can configure administrators to receive email messages or text messages whenever a report or a bullying incident has been reported. And this is configurable. You can have some administrators that see the reports or the alerts for their school one way and some that see it another way, and maybe other administrators who don't get any alerts whatsoever. And so it's very configurable so that there's it suits whatever needs you have and can provide that immediate notification if that's something that you're looking for. We also provide actionable statistics. So when you log in, there's a dashboard that shows you charts with the number of bullying incidents that have been reported over the last 30 days, as well as the different categories of bullying, whether it's physical or verbal or online. And then we can also generate reports that need to be submitted from the Bully Button interface. We also provide a consistent workflow so that, again, you were tracking the entire bullying incident from report to resolution. And that's really the goal of Bully Button, is to provide that tracking mechanism there as well as the reporting mechanism for the victims themselves. And within Bully Button, it's very easy to record all the interactions that are related to an incident. Again, if you're interviewing a witness or a victim or the bully or the parents, all of those things can be recorded, and then we see that. We also provide a lot of accountability inside of the interface where you can see the complete history. You can see everybody that's looked at the report. You can see when it was converted from a report to an actual incident, and you can easily see exactly what status the incident or the report is in. So I've talked quite a bit about the bully button workflow, and this diagram shows the reporting side of it. So basically at the top we have our report being submitted up here, and then that goes into essentially an inbox where administrators log in and they can see the reports that were submitted, and then they can choose whether or not this is something that should be turned into an incident or it should be dismissed as a prank or a joke or somebody just goofing around. And so in Bully Button, what we do is we basically take the information that is reported as kind of a loose version of the events, and maybe it doesn't contain the full or properly spelled names of the bully or the victim, or maybe details are missing. And so what we do is take the report and then convert that into an incident. And at that point, the administrator takes over from the incident and then fills in the appropriate information and kind of verifies those details. So you have your open incidents, and then the administrators can take action, whether it's a phone call, an email, sitting down with a student, or handing out discipline, and record all of those things inside a Bully Button. And then finally, when the incident has been resolved, it can be marked as closed, and then it's not something that is presented to the administrators anymore when they log in. It's all still there inside of Bully Button. It's just not something that is going to require any time from the administrator once it's been closed. So that's kind of an overview. Real quick, the pricing for Bully Button is $195 per school per year. There are no setup fees, and you can have unlimited administrators. So if you have 3 administrators that deal with bullying at your school, that's fine. If you have 10, that's fine as well. And also, if you're in a district, you can have different administrators at different schools, and that also applies to the alerts, as we'll see when we get inside of the Bully Button interface. So let's go ahead and take a look at the actual Bully Button website and how you manage these incidents. So I have the main Bully Button page loaded, and there is just a simple report bullying on here. We'll see in a little bit how you can put buttons on your own website so that users don't have to know to go to Bully Button. They can just go to the school's website and be directed to the form. But just for now, I'm going to go ahead and click on the report a bullying incident. And this brings up a form. Again, because this is just a generic form for anyone, you would put in your zip code to locate a school. We have a test zip code of 5 zeros, and now I select my school. I'm going to select the Fillmore Junior High, and the name of the victim, it was Todd, and I'm going to be playing the role of Todd. It was me. When you're reporting it, you could say I was a friend of mine, or if a parent wanted to report some cyberbullying that was going on, they could fill out a report as well. And so we have the ability to kind of get that relationship. And the victim, or I'm sorry, the bully was John, and I was involved. I'm again in the role of Todd here. And this happened in the locker room, we'll say. And basically, John punched and pushed and kicked me, and he also took some of my stuff, and he was saying things about me and saying stuff about the way I looked and some of my mannerisms. And so I can go through with Bully Button when I'm reporting this and just choose the things that apply to the incident. He made an obscene gesture at me. It wasn't any cyberbullying. It happened in the locker room, and he was just trying to exert power over me and intimidate me. And as a result, I had physical pain and I was embarrassed. And so what Bully Button does with these checkboxes as you check them is it generates a paragraph down here that basically describes the incident in terms of the bully and the victim. And the bully basically pushed, punched, and kicked the victim, stole the property of the victim, made statements that were directed about me, about my appearance, my mannerisms, and made obscene gestures. And then I can put extra details in here if I want to. I could say that he took my phone and won't give it back. And then I can also put the date and time when this happened, and I could put in my name, phone, and email, which is optional if I wanted to have that information in there. I check that I'm not a robot, and then I go ahead and submit my report. And so from the victim's side or whoever's reporting the incident, that's the extent of their interaction. Now that gets sent to the administrator. And so if alerts were configured for that school, it would have sent an email or a text message to any administrators who were configured to get those. So let's go ahead and take a look at it from the administrator side. And what we'll do is we'll actually just sign in here. And so I sign in, and this is the dashboard that I'm presented with when I first come in. I have my number of reports over the last 30 days. That was the one that we just reported. I also see categories of bullying. So this shows me over the last 30 days the different types of, whether it was physical contact or property or verbal or cyberbullying or nonverbal. So I see these charts that kind of give me information about sort of the trends and the types of bullying that have been going on over the last 30 days. What we'll go ahead and do is take a look at the actual new reports. So if I go to the bully reports and click new, this is basically like going to my inbox. And these are all grouped by school. This one was at the Fillmore Junior High School. So if we scroll down based on date, here's our report that we just submitted. I'm going to go ahead and click to view it. And this is what I'm presented with from the administrator side is the information that was reported. And so I basically have all the information that the user typed in when they reported the incident. And so I can look at this and I can take action and decide that I need to open a new incident, or maybe I need to dismiss it, or I can just mark it as pending. Maybe before I want to turn it into a full incident, I need to go and just verify that this is a legitimate thing. And I'm just going to go ahead now and do open a new incident. And what this does is it basically creates a new incident and then associates that bully report with the incident. In Bully Button, you could have multiple reports associated with the same incident. So if multiple people reported the same thing that happened, you can associate all of those reports with one incident. And basically what we're doing with an incident is now, as the administrator, I'm going to put in the actual information. As you can see, when we reported this, we didn't use any last names. It was just all first names. So as the administrator, I can come in and put this in edit mode and put down that the victim was Todd Jones and that the bully was John Summers. And it was at Fillmore High School, so it grabbed that from the report. And so once I've added this, now I have actual full names. This can be used later. I have the date of when it happened, and the summary is copied over from the report as well. So at this point, I can switch back to read-only mode if I want to, or just view mode. And I can go and make status updates. So I have my victim, bully, school, the summary. I have the associated bully reports. And down here I have my activity log, and you can see that we kept track of when it was created and the report that it was created from. It keeps track that I edited the incident, added Todd and John as the victim and the bully. I can go ahead and click Add Status Update again and record any of these things. Maybe I sat down with the victim and that his phone was taken. He also showed me bruises. So I can go ahead and record that, hit save, and now that's added to the activity log that I had an interview with student and verified the information. I could add other updates for interviewing the bully, the witness, maybe staff, reviewing surveillance video. If it was maybe something that was really bad, I might need to contact outside authorities. I can record all those things, as well as issuing disciplinary action and confirming that that happened. So maybe maybe John got in suspension for 3 days, and so I can issue that, and then after he served the 3-day suspension, I can come back in and confirm that he did in fact serve the 3-day suspension. Here were the days that he was out of school. And so I can add as many of these status updates as I want, and then when I'm done with the incident, I can come and mark it as closed. When it's open, whenever I log in, I'll see that it is in the open list and that I've got 2 open incidents right now. So as an administrator, we have little counts that kind of draw your attention to the new bully reports as well as open incidents. These are basically items that require action or that they're incomplete. And so if this one is now taken care of, I can go and mark it as closed. And now it's, as you can see, marked as closed, and it just shows up in the all category and no longer would be in my incidents list. If for some reason new information comes to light, I can go back to the actions and reopen it and then add more things to it and have it as an open incident as well. So that's the essential workflow of Bully Button, going from a report and then taking that report, converting it to an incident that has accurate, full information, first names, last names, all those kinds of things. And then once I have that incident, I can add those updates and see it through its resolution and then close it. We do have search capabilities where you can search for incidents. So if I wanted to search based on name, I can go ahead and search and it'll get me the ones that have Todd Jones involved with it. I can also search the bully reports as well and search for who the victim and who the bully was and maybe even the school if I wanted to search on that as well. So let's take a look at some of the settings and the configuration of Bully Button. So that's kind of how your school administrators would work with Bully Button. Let's take a look at how you as kind of the technology person would set up Bully Button so that the system is ready for your administrators. The way we do that first is by going to the subscription. When you first get a subscription to Bully Button, you won't have any locations associated with your subscription, and the first thing that you would want to do is come in and use the Add Location button to add a location. So let me just remove the high school here, just so you can see what that looks like. And so I have my account information. It shows the expiration date, the start date, and I have 4 locations and 3 are in use. I'm just going to go ahead and click Add a Location. And this will come up with a window where I can select and I can put in the zip code, and it'll show me what's been claimed. If a school's already been claimed, I can go ahead and just add the Westdale High School. So now I add that location. So initially, when you first start your subscription, you would want to come in and add locations that you're going to be managing. Once you've got that, you can go to the Locations button, and this will show those 4 locations that I've got selected or that I've claimed. And then I can go ahead and click and see who my administrators are for that location. And so it shows me kind of the school details. I can see the administrators. If I wanted to, I can click and add an administrator. If I haven't already created the administrator, I would need to go to the administrators list and create a new administrator in here. And when I create a new administrator, I give them a username, their full name, and email address. They'll receive an email from the system to finish creating their account. I can also create them as an enterprise administrator. When I do that, that gives them full access to the subscription properties as well as location and creating other administrators. When I create the administrator, I can assign them 2 locations. So I can select which which schools they should be associated with, and then I can also give them their level of access for that location. So they could either be read-only, where they can just view the information, they can have modify privileges where they can do what we did earlier and take a report, create it as an incident, add status updates and things like that. And then if they have full control, they can actually create other administrators for that school or that location. So that's how you would go ahead and create an administrator. After you've created the administrators, again, you can go back to locations, and if you didn't initially add them to that school or location, you can add them here. You can also click on them and edit their abilities. So if you wanted to change their permissions so that maybe they could have full control or modify, you can do that. You can also control their alerts for them as well. They have the ability to control their own alerts by clicking on their name in the title bar, and then they can change their password, enable two-factor authentication, and also choose which organizations or which locations they want to receive alerts for. So again, we'll go back. And the other thing that you can do is you can view a user and see all of the schools that they're associated with, see all of their recent activity, and if you're an enterprise administrator, you can disable or delete their account. So basically, the settings part is where you can manage your administrators and which locations they're going to be associated with and be tied to. The last thing we'll take a look at is the branding feature. And branding basically allows you to generate buttons and basically HTML fragments for buttons that you can put on your own school website so that users can just navigate and they don't have to worry about typing in their zip code. So what this looks like, I have a sample school set up. And this is just a website for our sample school district that we use here. And this is just a simple WordPress page. It doesn't really have any content on it other than just the buttons for showing how Bully Button works. Basically, what I've got is this button over here, and when I click on Report a Bully, what this does is it takes me right to bullybutton.fortressgrand.com, and it's set up so that it already has the schools that are associated with my location or my subscription. So I can select which school I was in without having to worry about putting in my zip code. I just select the school. Now you can take it a step further and you can actually have school-specific buttons. So I have the Westdale High School in here, and this button, when I click on it, will take me to the Report a Bully page, and the only option I have is for Westdale High School. So it's already selected, and I just put in the information. And I can do that, again, through this branding section where I can choose which location the button should apply to. If it's all locations, it'll work like the first example where I'm able to select my 4 schools. If I wanted to create one that's just for the Clinton Avenue Elementary, I select that. I select the layout of the button that I want, whether I want it to open in a new window or a tab or the same window. And then all I would do is take this HTML fragment, copy and paste that into my school's website, and then I would have a button. And so you can actually click this to try it out. And so there I am with my button that's automatically for the Clinton Avenue Elementary School, and I don't have to worry about selecting the different locations. So the branding allows you to do that. Something that we're working on that will be coming soon is a way that you can do the same thing for the actual form. And what that will do is it will generate this form and the HTML that you would need so that you could actually put this form on your website instead of just a link to the form. So everything would work the same, and then when they would click the Submit Report button, it would submit that, and you could do that all from your own organization's website. So that's something that'll be coming in the next week or so. So again, we have our dashboard that has kind of the summary high-level view. We've got our reports, which are submitted by users, possibly anonymously. Then we have the incidents that we manage as administrators. And then for the enterprise administrators, there are the settings down here that you can manage. So that's kind of an overview of how Bully Button works. Definitely, if you have any questions, You can contact us through our toll-free number. You can also press 1 for sales if you'd like to get a quote or email sales, or you can call our toll-free number and press 2 for technical support and ask any questions you may have about Bully Button and the behavior of it. You can also, on the website, you can log into a sample dashboard. If I log out here and you go to bullybutton.com or bullybutton.fortressgran.com, either one, you can click on the sample admin dashboard if you want to kind of see and get a read-only view of what the dashboard looks like. But certainly if you have any questions, feel free to contact us. And I appreciate your time and hope you have a great afternoon. Thank you.